Members of the African intelligentsia, I greet you. Some of you may have seen this picture before. Bottom right, $46.3 billion in profits made by multinational corporations, leaving the continent annually. You may have also seen videos stating that the Alliance of Sahelian States is taking back their gold mines from multinational corporations, mining outfits. This is part of the reason why. Because according to President Thabo Mbeki of South Africa, Africa has lacked the capacity to keep track of, to measure how much these companies are taking out and how much they're really making. And African governments had been at the mercy of these corporations to measure and report that amount.
In our study of the issue, we were saying that we found that the principal culprits with regard to the international financial flows, outflows from Africa, for instance, were the corporations. It's the major companies that are responsible. And when those monies get out of the continent, they end up somewhere in the developed world, including in these areas called tax havens. And therefore we said, even in our report, therefore the struggle against international financial flows, you can't localize it. Yes, as Africans, we suffer from this problem, but you can't resolve it entirely just by interventions in Africa. You got to also intervene in those countries which receive those outflows. I'm very, very happy that in the end, what has happened now is that at last, finally, the rest of the world responded to that. As a consequence of which there is now a process at the United Nations, there's a process at the United, approved by the General Assembly, to prepare a draft international convention, tax convention, to deal with this matter of illicit financial flows, so that you can deal with it comprehensively, not regionally, but comprehensively globally. And the United Nations is now in the process of drawing that international tax convention, which will deal with this matter. What is required in the continent is to build first of all, the understanding of the issue and the necessary capacity. The necessary capacities, even in our tax authorities, to understand this. When we were preparing the report, for instance, we went to Nigeria, we went to the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, we went to Mozambique, we came here, number of countries. And so we get to Nigeria, and one of the things we're told by the Nigerians, it's not the customs service in Nigeria which measures how much oil is produced and exported from Nigeria. That's a matter that is decided in the office of the president. And because the office of the president does not have the capacities that customs have, they are dependent on what the oil companies report. And they were saying to us that their own view, customs, was that it's likely that the country was operating on the basis of an underestimate of a third of the oil that was being exported. We go to the Congo, and the Congolese say, we don't know how much copper we're exporting. We're dependent on the copper company, the mining companies to tell us. Mozambique same. got these fishing trawlers who fish for prawns and all this. What is the catch of the prawns? How much of it is exported? Entirely dependent on the report of the fishing companies. I think that's just an indication I'm saying of the capacity. We need to build up the capacity within our countries to be able to do that in order to get a handle on this matter of illicit financial flows. A South African company gets itself registered in Switzerland. And in the books, it's owned in Switzerland. So it exports money from here because they are paying the owner who's in Switzerland. And the owner is not at all a Swiss. It's two young officials from their company here. They post them in Zurich. You put a label in a room. This is company so-and-so. And they exported something like $2 billion. Like that. These illicit financial flows out of here. Unfortunately, our tax authorities here managed to get a handle of that, and working with the Swiss and the British, they managed to recover that money. But it was entirely because of the capacity that there was in SARS to track down a crooked exchange of that kind. But I'm saying here, Jonathan, that the matter of illicit financial flows remains with us. It's a very serious issue. But fortunately, at last, the whole world is saying, okay, let's get together and deal with this matter, even via a tax law which will be binding on all countries in the world.